General George S. Patton was a man out of time. He approached the mechanized slaughter of the Second World War with the mindset of an ancient Spartan king. To Patton, combat was not just a political necessity. It was a sacred, honorable profession. Because of this deeply ingrained warrior philosophy, Patton held a genuine, albeit grudging, respect for enemy soldiers who fought bravely and fairly. He openly admired the tactical brilliance of Field Marshal Erwin Rommel, and he expected his own American troops to treat honorable German prisoners of war with the dignity required by the Geneva Convention. But Patton's strict adherence to the code of the warrior had a dark, uncompromising flip side. If an enemy combatant broke the unwritten rules of war, if they fought from cowardly ambush, if they disguised themselves in American uniforms, or if they dared to desecrate the bodies of fallen American soldiers, Patton's respect vanished instantly. It was replaced by a cold, violent rage. For those who broke the rules of honorable combat, Patton believed they had forfeited their right to be treated as soldiers. They were murderers, and in Patton's Third Army, murderers were not taken prisoner. This ruthless philosophy was put to the ultimate test during the brutal winter of 1944 and 1945. As the Third Army pushed toward the German border, and especially during the freezing hell of the Battle of the Bulge, the nature of the war changed. The collapsing German military grew desperate, and the fanatical troops of the Waffen-SS were unleashed. Rumors and confirmed reports of horrific atrocities began flooding into Patton's headquarters. At Malmedy, SS panzer troops had machine-gunned over 80 unarmed American prisoners of war in a frozen field. Otto Skorzeny's commandos were caught operating behind American lines, wearing captured GI uniforms, and driving American jeeps. But for the frontline infantrymen, one of the most enraging discoveries was the morbid practice of trophy hunting. Some fanatical German snipers and machine gunners had taken to looting the bodies of killed Americans, stripping them of their boots, their watches, and most disgustingly, their dog tags. To the American GI, a dog tag was sacred. It was the only guarantee that a man's body would be identified and sent home to his grieving mother. Taking them was an unforgivable desecration. The tension reached a boiling point during a localized mop-up operation in the winter forests. According to Third Army lore and the accounts of frontline GIs, an American infantry patrol managed to outflank and capture a highly lethal German sniper who had been pinning them down from a concealed position. As the angry, exhausted American soldiers aggressively searched the prisoner for hidden weapons, they felt something bulky beneath his heavy wool tunic. When they tore his collar open, they made a sickening discovery. The German sniper was wearing a heavy, clinking metal chain around his neck. Threaded onto the chain were roughly 50 silver American dog tags. It was a morbid, undeniable tally of the American soldiers he had killed and subsequently looted. For the capturing GIs, the sight of their dead brothers' identification tags being worn as jewelry by the enemy was absolutely infuriating. The sniper was roughly dragged back to the rear command post, where the grisly discovery was reported up the chain of command, eventually reaching the ears of General Patton himself. To the American GI, a dog tag was sacred. It was the only guarantee that a man's body would be identified and sent home. Taking them was an unforgivable desecration. When Patton was informed of the sniper and his morbid necklace of 50 American dog tags, his reaction was instantaneous and violently decisive. Patton despised snipers on principle, viewing them as cowardly assassins who hid in trees rather than facing their enemy in open combat. But a sniper who mutilated the dead for trophies crossed a line from which there was no return. While official military doctrine required that all surrendering enemies be transported safely to prisoner-of-war camps, Patton's unofficial instructions regarding troops caught committing war crimes or wearing American gear were legendary for their brutal frontier justice. Upon hearing of the sniper with the dog tags, Patton's verdict was clear. While the exact phrasing was often sanitized in official reports, his standing sentiment to his unit commanders regarding such men was unmistakable. I do not want to see that man in a prisoner enclosure. See to it that he does not survive the trip to the rear. For Patton, a man wearing the dog tags of 50 dead Americans had stripped himself of the protections of the Geneva Convention. He was to be treated exactly as he had treated his victims. This incident was not an isolated anomaly. It was reflective of the grim, unspoken reality of the war in Europe during its final months. Patton's ruthless attitude toward war criminals heavily influenced the men fighting under his command. During the Battle of the Bulge, when American troops captured German commandos wearing U.S. uniforms, Patton famously ordered them lined up against a wall and executed by firing squad as spies. The GIs of the Third Army understood their commander's intent perfectly. Word quickly spread among the infantry regiments that SS troops, snipers, and anyone found carrying American trophies were not to be afforded the luxury of a white flag. Many fanatical German soldiers who attempted to surrender after picking clean the bodies of dead Americans found that their captors' rifles simply went off by accident on the walk back to the prisoner cages. General George S. Patton is remembered as a brilliant tactician who won the war through speed and aggressive armor. But incidents like the sniper with the 50 dog tags reveal the darker, uncompromising reality of his leadership. Patton loved the honorable soldier, but he was more than willing to become a monster to destroy those who dared to defile the American dead.